All right, so for today's notes, you can pause the video at any time to write down the notes that are on the screen, but we're talking about the Cold War at home today. So everything that's going on in America, everything that's happening at home, and what civilians are going through during the Cold War. And first and foremost, everyone's afraid of the communists. We have this big scare that everybody is a communist. We are worried that your neighbor's a communist, and you're worried that the communists are taking over. So there's this constant fear that communism is going to take over and that there are communists hiding in America. And we also are afraid of nuclear war. We're afraid that the Soviets are going to attack us and nuke us and bomb us. It's so much to the point that schools actually held drills to make sure that kids were aware of what to do in case of a nuclear war. Here's a picture of an advertisement in a magazine that would actually show parents, hey, talk to your kids about what to do in case there's a nuclear war, because people were worried about it. We have students right here that are ducking and covering. If you watch the video about Bert the Turtle, he explains what to do in case of a nuclear attack, and that would actually be shown on television, that would be shown in classes, that would be shown before movies, because they wanted everybody to understand what to do in case there was a nuclear bomb. We also have people being afraid of the nuclear fallout and would build these fallout shelters. And a fallout shelter is some sort of shelter that is built to protect you from a nuclear blast, and then also the nuclear fallout that would follow. So here are some pictures of real life ones. They could be built in the bottom of a church or in somebody's basement, and there were actual people who built their own shelters under their houses, kind of built private ones for them and their families. And it's estimated that almost 1,500 shelters were built at this time, which is a lot of people being worried about being bombed by nukes. Here's a picture of a family, and you can see in the background all their supplies they have, the water being cleaned and ready to drink. This guy's holding his shovel ready to fight the communists by surviving, but all their food in the background, proud of their fallout shelter. Here's another one showing you supplies on the side and kind of what the beds or the sitting area looks like, and they're not very spacious, but they're very secure in case a nuclear bomb would be dropped, that they could survive. They would have enough supplies afterwards. Plenty of drinking water, as well as other food. This shows you an advertisement that would be in a newspaper telling you how to ration. These are examples of the food being protected so that they would survive the nuclear blast and wouldn't be exposed to radiation levels, as well as sanitation kits and Geiger counters, which measure the levels of radiations outside, and then these measure the amount of radiation a person has been exposed to. So making sure that somebody didn't catch too much radiation if they went outside after a nuclear bomb. If so, they would have all sorts of medical supplies to try and treat them to prevent them from dying of radiation poisoning. And here's some guys, peeking out of their fallout shelter after a bomb would have gone off. As well as the fear of nukes, we also have this constant fear of people being communist. And we have a guy named Joseph McCarthy who starts this whole thing called McCarthyism, which is accusing people of little to no evidence that they're being a communist. So McCarthyism is something, and it's a term that means accusing somebody based off of nothing. And it's kind of like the Salem witch trials. It's accusing people, oh hey, they're a communist, or accusing people that what they're doing is communist things, because so many people were worried and paranoid that the communists were around that you could accuse somebody of it and maybe they get caught up. And it went through politics, and a lot of people lost their jobs because they were accused of being communists. We have two instances that actually led to things. The first one being Alger Hiss, and he was convicted, or he was accused of being a spy for the Soviet Union, and they didn't actually find out he was a spy, but they were able to prove that he lied under oath, which is what perjury is, when you are under oath and you're in a courtroom, and if you tell a lie, you can be arrested and put in jail for that, being called perjury. So a way to remember that Alger Hiss was convicted of perjury was that hiss is the sound a snake makes, and Hiss lied under oath. He lied like a snake, and lied under oath. So that would remind you that he was convicted of perjury. Another example we have are Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. They were convicted of being spies, espionage. They were spies for the Soviet Union. They were actually found selling secrets, scientific nuclear secrets, to the Soviet Union. And we were kind of worried that they were going to build better bombs and weapons and stuff. We didn't want our information to go to the Soviets, so we found them out, and they were sent to jail and imprisoned. And lastly, we have a picture here of, this is Richard Nixon. He's the passenger in this car, and it is for HUAC, which stands for the House Committee on Un-American Activities. There was a group of politicians that went around trying to find other people doing un-American things. So this shows you, it's a political cartoon, kind of, he's running somebody over, he's driving through the streets, he's killing people, but it says it's okay.